When you open a file, a simple image, a document, or a video, you set off a finely tuned series of events inside your computer. Hardware, software, and microarchitecture all work together to make it happen, and most of it is invisible to you. At rest, every file is simply a sequence of bytes stored on non-volatile memory, typically a hard disk drive (HDD) or a solid-state drive (SSD). Non-volatile is simply memory that doesn't get erased when you turn off your computer. HDDs store data mechanically on spinning platters, accessed by a mechanical read-write head. SSDs, on the other hand, use NAND flash, a type of floating-gate transistor array, to store data electrically with no moving parts, offering dramatically faster access times. A transistor is a switch that turns on when you apply a voltage to the gate, but once the path has been created, if the gate has no resistance to ground, the path remains. This way you can apply a voltage to the gate to store a 1 and the resistance to ground for a 0. Regardless of the storage medium, the file's data isn't continuous. It's fragmented across multiple physical sectors, with pointers managed by the file system, structures like NTFS, APFS, or ext4, which map logical files to physical disk locations. When you open the file, the operating system issues a system call, typically open or read, requesting access to the file. This crosses from user space into kernel space, the privileged core of the OS. The system relies on hidden structures like inodes and file tables. Think of them like a set of index cards in a giant library. They store the location, size, permissions, and history of every file. Once located, the file's data must travel up the storage stack, but disk I/O is slow compared to CPU speeds. So the OS uses a memory structure called the page cache, a region of RAM reserved for caching file contents. When you access a file, the OS first checks if it's already in the page cache. If not, reads the necessary blocks from disk into RAM. But RAM, while fast compared to the disk, is still slow relative to the CPU's execution speed. Thus, modern CPUs maintain multiple layers of cache memory, L1, 2, and 3, progressively get larger and slower. If modifications are made, the system marks the corresponding memory pages as dirty, indicating they no longer match the stored version. When you explicitly save, the file system reserializes the in-memory structures, translating changes back into a sequence of disk writes.